I'm not a science-matist, I'm not a mathematician, but I do know a few things. Mainly because I'm a nerd and I like SpaceX and spaceflight in general, and I think what they're doing is really cool. And because it makes 100,000,000% sense to me that Musk is now the richest man in the world.
I mean, not richest man in the world. He's been the richest man in the world. I mean, now he's a trillionaire, or maybe he's not a trillionaire now. He's like 900 and something, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to say this wrong like a couple more times. My bad.
Because y'all need to listen to me. Some of y'all out there are saying crazy things right now. Trust Papa Jake for a minute, okay? I'm not a crazy old man, although I'm going to take the Papio down some places that may be stupid. And don't let that, you know, influence your thoughts on me, that I'm a moron. Absolutely just flood rained yesterday, and here we are today with my most appropriate bike for off-roading. This is not going to be some video where I suck Elon Muskrat. I'm not here to suck. There's a lot of things he's done that I think are very silly. I think he's kind of a womanizer. He has very oddball expectations of timelines of things, unrealisticness. I mean, it's funny he's a poster, but someone in his position, maybe that's not the best thing. I think, Musk, you're doing a lot of things internationally in big ways with lots of people around the world. Maybe you shouldn't be challenging Putin to a cage match fight to the death. I also think that things like Doge, which I think is a really good idea on paper, right? Like, yes, we all know this is like a bipartisan thing, right? Government spending is insane and needs to be ridiculously audited. The problem, though, the way that Musk has done it with the team, have like 20 people going through the amount of stuff that they were going through. Maybe there's more people, I don't know. I don't know, but it seemed to me like the hacking and slashing at mock Jesus rate, maybe a bit careless, and they probably made mistakes. They definitely made mistakes, right? I think he's a very like absolute kind of guy at times, which is not always the best way to be. There's a number of other things I could give him for as well. So he's also just a goofy guy. He's got his faults, for sure. But he's now the richest man in the world because SpaceX went public, and Musk owns the most of it. I'll need some rocks. Yeah, I know, ladies. I'm taken, I know. Oh, you can do it! You can do it! I think the ABS is still on. Oh, it's too soft. It's way too soft right there to do the ABS trick. The ABS trick is where you literally just spin the rear tire. I could probably just pick it up. Oh yeah, watch. Gotta let the clutch out for a minute. We have to like force it to do like a temporary fault. It'll fix as soon as I cycle the key. There's a lot of people that still don't understand why that would make Musk so rich. They think space flight is insane. We shouldn't even be doing it. They think that it's like this is a government funded thing. There's a lot of misconceptions, as well as why doesn't Musk just give all his money to charity? Well, you give all your money to charity, first of all, you dickhead. And secondly, that's not even, we're going to get into that. That's not even how it works. I guarantee you there's a bunch of you in my audience that think silly things like all the space stuff is fake. But anyway, for those of y'all that think like space stuff is fake, a lot of y'all ask good questions, but you're not actually looking for an honest conversation. Every question you could ask about, well, why does this happen and why did that happen is all easily answerable, like easily. Now, if you want to go into the whole conspiracy theory of the whole thing and then say, well, the answers are fake to blah, 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 well, then there's nothing you can believe. You're not going to have any kind of real conversation. Like, ask yourself this, why did we fake going to the moon? Because we were in a space race with Russia. Okay, then why did the Russians congratulate us for going to the moon? They had the technology to track and know that it had landed on the moon, and they congratulated us. I bet some of you didn't know that. Then you're gonna have to go to the bigger tinfoil hat theory. Oh, they're just faking it to fake it. For what reason? To what ends? Make it make sense, people. Because what, the world's flat and there's a secret thing that they don't want you to know? What would happen if the world was flat and you found out? There's an ice wall we can't get past. Oh my goodness sake, don't you know you can't go through the Van Allen belt? They're way too full of radiation. Who told you how much radiation they're full of? They're gonna lie about it when they just lie and say, oh, actually, it's not that bad. No, it's not fine. That's why when we have people on board, we go through it once. You have like just a satellite or something, you're trying to get out to the moon or Mars, and it doesn't matter because there's no people on board. You can raise your orbit slowly and go through the Van Allen belts like 15, 20 times. Who gives a shit? And you can get there much more efficiently. When there's people on board, we blast them through that way. Kapow! You know, we get a big burn and boo! And you just go through it once. So it's like a couple chest x-rays. I need you just to trust me on this a little bit. All the answers are out there. I've been a nerd about this since like the 3rd grade when we watched Apollo 13. We got to watch that in school. It was so cool. It was kind of a recent movie because I'm old, and I've been just a nerd about it since. And I was watching it and I was like, why are they just throwing away your giant rocket halves? I didn't realize that's how, like, you know, the Apollo rocket worked and how pretty much all rockets work. You mean to tell me in the 1960s? Yes, it was very difficult. I've consumed all the research on it because it's crazy that they pulled it off, but they did. Then why can't we go back? Because we don't have the insanity budget. Don't you understand? They have the insanity budget. All these companies were built and have disappeared since then that made all the shit. What SpaceX has done is blown the hell up in the last few years. In fact, I just looked it up, make sure I have this number right. SpaceX is, in the US, responsible for, I think, 83 to 84% of all launches. Globally, they're responsible for around 50%. That's nuts. That's nuts that a single company within the US. And then there's another number that's even more crazy. What you want to do is look at SpaceX's payload to orbit percentage per year, and they're putting, by weight, I think 84 to 85% of everything into space. That's a big piece of mud that landed on the right before the lens there. That's crazy. 84, 85% of all the weight up there each year is being put up there by SpaceX. You might be wondering, well, how did they pull that off? How are they become the big king daddy of rocket launches? And who's paying for it? Is it us? Some of it, and that's saving us money, but let's get into that. The first bit, how did they do this? Remember that part where I said, wow, why is they just throwing the rocket away? That's the same thing Musk always said. Why are we just throwing the rocket away? Why don't we try to reuse this thing? And that's what they painstakingly did with the Falcon 9. I don't know if you guys remember them blowing up all the time, which is always so funny. If you weren't paying attention, people are like casually paying attention, like, wow, one of Musk's rockets blew up trying to land. Back when they weren't even, nobody was landing rockets. It was like, no, it's still got the payload into orbit. That was just like a bonus if we could get the booster back, right? After blowing up enough of them, they did. And by the way, that's what they're doing with the Starship right now. When you see the big Starship blow up, and they go, oh my God, Elon Musk, what's going to be broken out? He blew up. What do you think? That's his whole wealth? It's also a company. And no, they're fine. This is a part of the process. The reason they suddenly got real successful is because they were able to start landing them so routinely, that they just started making dumb. Like, imagine if you were a taxi driver and all the other taxi drivers are just like, well, we're done giving you a lift where we're going, and then they just like hit a button, the taxi explodes. That's basically what was happening. And then SpaceX, CabX, hey, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna just like reuse this thing. You know, I think it could go pick someone else up now. And everyone since then is trying to play catch up. That's what Blue Origin's trying to do. Because of that, though, they can offer better prices, and because of that, they're gonna win the contracts. Are we paying for that? I mean, yes and no. I would imagine that the big majority of their money, I haven't dug deep into this, but it's probably coming from, they're launching satellites all the time. There's so many satellites in space. You think we don't need satellites? You think we don't need all this space money? You're probably listening to me right now, talking to me because of something like that, because of some kind of flight thing. Is that the guy that pulled me out of the ditch one time? Are you the guy that pulled me out of the mud one time out here on a big adventure bike?
I'm stupid.
What's up, man? I saw you. I had to get that bro's number. You all are using satellites, whether you think you want to use them or not. You know, you're using the technology of the space flight stuff. And honestly, for just international security, we have to have this stuff, people. We really do. I'm not going to get into all that, but just trust me. Like, you don't want to just go, oh, space is a waste of money. We're gonna quit spending. So that being said, knowing that our government's going to be spending money on space flight anyway, what SpaceX is doing, they're not just getting some hookup, get Donald Trump likes them or some shit. No, this is happening well before even 2016. In fact, I'm pretty sure Trump's first term that Musk was not a fan of his. They've been getting contracts because they're f***ing cheaper than anybody else. They also are the only people who've been able to pull off putting people back in the International Space Station. What do you think we were doing before SpaceX come up with their Dragon capsule? We're paying the Russians silly amounts of money to do it. And for a country we like to try to, you know, push our weight around and tell them what to do, that's not really a good move now, is it? And up until now, nobody's able else to get anyone to the space station. Well, I mean, Boeing got someone to the space station and then couldn't bring them home. SpaceX had to kind of go rescue them. That got over politicized too in some very silly ways, like as if Donald Trump saved them once he became president. That mission was already in the works. That's something I'll say about Musk. Like, he knows better, but he let the Trump ego stroking happen. Say, oh yeah, sure. I asked Biden to let me save them, but he said no. And the thing is, it's so funny because it's such a win for SpaceX. They didn't have to add that layer to it. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. My point is, they've made a lot of money, and they've done so because, duh. We'll have to try to go up this hill climb now. Come on, little Papio. All right, I'm not giving up, but we might not be able to stand on it while we do it. Crab walking, we're crab walking. So I've been trying to get parts for this thing, and it's like, there's so few people that make them. It's such a shame. This thing is so cool. The few people that even make parts trying to be like, hey, what's up? And none of them are like even replying. So if you know anyone, tell them your boy's saying what's up. All right, back to the matter at hand. Now, one of the other things I hear all the time, Musk didn't even invent any of that stuff. He just hired the inventors, or he just bought this technology from somebody else. Let's assume for a moment that's true. Who gives a shit? The owner of the New York Knicks can't even dribble the ball. He's such an idiot. Okay, well, he obviously put together the team, didn't he? If he put together the perfect dream team and they built the most bad rockets in the world, then yes, he's behind that. He did it. Why he definitely did hire and pull a lot of really good talent. People that say, oh, he has no idea what he's talking about, don't know what they're talking about. I'll ask them, what does delta V mean? Or just ask them some very generic question. They don't even understand. It's like, you don't understand what you're talking about enough to try to criticize him. I can tell you, the guy does actually have quite a clue of what he's talking about. I've listened to enough interviews with him to be like, holy, she's a nerd. Like, he's so autistic out, so Aspergered out, that he's just like absorbed rocket science, okay? There's one astronaut, he went on Rogan. It's a really cool interview, even if you hate Joe Rogan. I don't watch Joe Rogan all the time. I feel like I always have to say this. People are like, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's Joe Rogan. He's a little guy. He agrees with everyone who comes on there, unknowingly. Look at that. You know what that is, right, boys? But anyway, that guy, when he went on there, it's a really good interview because it's with an astronaut. Really cool. But he also was an advisor for SpaceX after the shuttle program for several years. You know, he talks about working with Musk and how, you know, because I think Joe basically asked him, like, does he actually understand all that stuff? And he's like, oh yeah, like the guy literally will like be talking to me about ridiculously technical stuff, and he'll talk to somebody else I don't even know or understand what it's about, talking to them about really technical stuff. And then he said he'll get a call from someone at Tesla about battery chemistry, and he knows all about it, and it's like all over this guy's head, who's like an astronaut. He's like, yeah, the guy's a genius. So he's doing things, right? He's building rockets. They come back, they land, they're cheaper to run. It actually is saving us money as taxpayers because we're gonna be doing this regardless, and now we've got this guy. Well, him making money, does it make sense to you now? It's not crazy. Now for the silly part, he's got so much money, why doesn't he just feed everybody in the world? Why doesn't he just give everybody $1 million? First of all, I'm pretty sure the math is hilariously wrong on that. But let's say it was $1 million. Let's pretend he could give everybody in the world $1 million, or everybody in the US $1 million. Now, how much do you think milk costs all of a sudden? You think that anything is actually a normal price? Have we just exploded the economy in the worst way? Yes. You can't just give people the money and have it not affect the economy. Look at stimuluses, and then look what happens down the road. It would be even worse. It'd be worse than stimulus because nobody would ever. I don't have to work anymore. I've got $1 million. Second, like I said, it's not even that much money. You guys are doing the math hilariously wrong, I want to say. And finally, come on, like, you guys realize that's not liquid cash. That's his net worth. He doesn't have a $1 trillion on him. Elon Musk is worth $1 trillion. If he just gave me like a couple bucks. That's not how that works. If everybody who said, why doesn't he just give it all his money to whatever, gave 10% of their money to a charity, probably fix all the world's problems. Actually, don't give them to charities. Charities are a giant waste of money. Or find like a church with a good mission program. I've done more with churches than I've done with anything else for helping people in the community. It's like all the people that cry about, why don't we just go this and that with Mexico? It's like, if you actually gave a you'd go down there and do something. Like 3-4 times I've been down there, done mission work down there, staying there. I'll mind you with the church that probably a lot of you out there think that they're just the worst things in the world. I mean, who the else is doing that? Are atheists going down there and doing that? I know I'm going off on a side tangent, but shut the up, because you're not doing keyboard activists. You've never put some foot to and done something about anything. Cybertrucks. Musk, whether you think he's a lunatic or not, I'm pretty sure, I feel like pretty confident saying that he generally wants to do the best he can for the world. I mean, if you actually look into why he wants to do all this space flight stuff, is he thinks that humanity could be wiped off the face of the earth by an extinction event. We have established somewhere else in the universe, and that'd just be the end of civilization. He thinks that'd be a bad thing. No, Jake, he's doing it because he wants to put biological vaginas up the moon's ass and turn it trans. Whatever you say, buddy. Why he got so much money? Why doesn't he give me some of that money? Why is Jeff Bezos so rich? He's a piece of shit. Because you buy from Amazon every f***ing day. You can acknowledge that Musk is rich for very good reasons. Let's also be real too. You would never work half as hard as Musk would. And if you don't think Musk actually gave a f*** about society, he had enough money to just be a degenerate the rest of his life. Well before starting SpaceX. I don't even know if we made it a cognitive point. Still with me? Say what's up in the comments. Tell me what you would do if you had that kind of money. See y'all next video. Bye-bye.